Yo, what's up, guys? Welcome back to another Chubbs Reviews, where I bring you a review every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And today we're going to be reviewing Control, a game that came out last year, 2019, a kind of relevant game. It got a Game of the Year nomination. A lot of people have heard about it. Not many, I don't think, have played it, to be honest. Game of the Year nomination was kind of a controversy at the time. Not really, but people talked about it. Was it really worth it, or not worth it? Was it deserving of a Game of the Year nomination compared to like Devil May Cry 5? But here we are. Control is a third-person action adventure type game. I don't know what that was. Action adventure type game in which you play as a female protagonist named Jessie, and she goes into this bureau investigation building and learns a bunch of creepy shit. Pretty much, not really learns, but realizes there's creepy shit going on, like NCIS type shit, like f- paranormal phenomenon. Like, you don't know what it is. It's just crazy shit's going on. Bodies are floating. People are getting taken over by the shit that the main character calls hiss, and it just basically turns people into evil bad guys, like revenant looking things. And and you come across this gun that has unlimited bullets, but it like charges up. So like when you shoot it, the meter goes down, and you gotta wait for it to recharge. So that's one part of the gameplay versus your abilities, in which you get basically the force, and you can pull anything and throw it at people, and including like basically at first it starts off small objects, then you can get upgrades to do like people with low health, and then people with big people with health, and then you could do like huge items like I can't even think of what it's called, a forklift, and you could just be chucking forklifts at people. This game was really highly um, liked for its physics, because you can destroy everything in the environment, and it looks really cool, and does well, and looks kind of realistic in a sense, and you can literally destroy anything whenever you are, say you're around nothing, no items, and you want to use your ability to pick up something and throw it. You will literally see cement break apart from a wall or the floor and come, and now you're holding that instead. And you see it happen. Then when you drop like rocks and stuff, you see all the little pebbles kind of drop, and it's very cool, very new physics in a sense. This game has a lot of 10 out of 10 elements, I would say. Like, very small parts of it are 10 out of 10. I have a fly in my room. But this game has very small 10 out of 10 elements. Like I said, the graphics are pretty cool. A lot of reviewers I've seen were saying the graphics were like insanely good. Maybe I just came off playing The Last of Us Part 2, and that, like, they weren't that good. Facial animations are okay, but some of them are very weird. Like, the main character's jaw is kind of like to the side while she's talking a lot of the time, and it throws me off every time there's a scene with her, and she's in every scene. Yeah, most of the characters suck ass, to be honest with you. Even the main character is very surface level, weird, kind of, but not interesting at all. There are two characters in the game I really like, though. The janitor, Ati, is very interesting, unique, creepy enough, but also a friendly face. And your brother, another thing is, when you go into this building, your goal is to find out what's happening, and also to find your brother Dylan. And Dylan was a pretty good. Hang on, guys, hang on. Okay, 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 okay. I don't know how to edit, so that's gonna stay in. Hopefully you guys are still here with me. My cat wanted out, but anyway, Control. The story, like I said, the other good character is your Dylan. Your brother Dylan. You kind of meet him later on, but he's very creepy and is kind of taken over by something. He's kind of lost his mind. He was taken away when you were younger, um, and now you're kind of there to look for him. And that's your main task. Even if I wanted to spoil this game for you, I couldn't, because I really don't know. When it comes down to describing the story, it's just WTF. It's just what the fuck. Um, it's very creepy. You don't really know what's going on. It gives me kind of Death Stranding vibes all the time. But Death Stranding eventually leads up to something. Death Stranding gives you a fulfilling ending and explains the world and explains everything. Well, this game just doesn't do that. It just doesn't. I don't know if it does in all the collectibles. There are millions of collectibles in the game. The game's really good for exploring, and there are a lot of hidden areas and side missions. Kind of, there are tons of side missions, Some of the side mission bosses are way better than every boss in the main story. The main story doesn't have any cool bosses really, but the side mission bosses, some of them are cool. Out of like the 50 side bosses, like 3 of them are cool. So, but like they're really cool, like 10 out of 10 moments. At one point towards the end of this game, I'm not going to spoil too much, but like some heavy metal music kicks on, and it is the most fun part of the game. I will never forget one singular part of this game because it's different from everything else in the game. I don't know how to describe it, but if you played the metal part, you know what I'm talking about. That part was awesome. 10 out of 10. Um, yeah, I said Jesse wasn't very good. Another thing about her character that was honestly, it's so troublesome and like bothering and such a focus in the game that it takes down a score. In the game, your character self monologues to herself all the time, like while people are having conversations with her. Um, and when you think about it, like when she has a whole sentence going on, like the other person's just kind of sitting there, smiling, and she's like thinking to herself, like, I wonder if I should tell them. Do I tell them? I wonder if I'll tell them. And then she tells them, or like she'll literally be like, should I tell them this? And then like tell, like, I don't know. She just repeats herself in her head. There's just no need for it at all. It is stupid. She's also always kind of talking to someone inside of her head. Refers to herself as we, like we sent me here or something like that. And that gets, I don't think really, unless I missed it, that did not get explained very well. But put it this way, the ending is horrible. The ending literally drops the rating of this game. But another thing too is weirdly enough, the credits roll at one point, and that's not the end of the game. I thought that was the end of the game when the credits first roll because it pissed me off beyond belief. And I was looking at the trophies like, wait, did I get a bad ending? And then I looked back and the game was still going. It wasn't as bad, but it was still not a good ending. The final level, the final chapter, the final 2 chapters, the second to final chapter was just a gauntlet of enemies, and like the final chapter was like the same thing. It was just there's no cool bosses at the end. It's just a gauntlet of all the enemies you faced. The enemy types in general, there are a few different ones, flying ones, units on grounds, brutes. Um, I just hit a fly again. I'm just getting bothered by everything. But overall, the enemy types kind of get stale, and you're not really afraid of anything. Even though the game tries to be very creepy and atmospheric, it is atmospheric. I wouldn't say that creepy, just because you're so powerful by the end of the game, I guess. Kind of. A lot of people overhype that you get a bunch of abilities in this game. You get 3, and I didn't even really use 2 of them. Obviously, you get the pull and push kind of thing, or throw things. Then you can make a shield with everything. I honestly didn't even get the shield moving until towards the end of the game. It's like a side mission, I think, and I just didn't do it until like the end of the game because I didn't care for the side missions at first. I still really don't. They sucked ass, but I did them to like get the full experience because some of the side missions should be story missions, 100%. It's very weird. This game is very weird, even the way it was like actually made, including the game just being weird on its own. Whenever you walk into a new area, they put up the big bold white letters of the area that you're at, and sometimes you'll literally be walk into an area with enemies and it will get in your way. They could have just like, especially in this game, I saw a video. Someone said that they should have just put those words on like the background in the back. And one thing about this building is like you go into rooms and it's all like deformed looking and squares everywhere, and you like cleanse the room and then the room will go back to its normal shape. So the building is constantly changing and moving, and not constantly, but it has some elements like that. Also, the entire game takes place in this big ass building. There's like 4 floors that are very fleshed out and large, but it is in just one FBI building. That is it's kind of cool. It always had like these red atmospheric type lights going on, but it can get repetitive just like the enemies. And overall, though, the game does get in very short. It is a very short game. No way in hell you should ever pay $60 for this game, let alone maybe 30. It should be 20 or less, 25 maybe. Um, but overall, the game took me 10 to 15 hours. I was just doing the story. Side stuff will last you about 20 hours. I know it just had a DLC. I didn't touch that. Sorry. Another thing, too, I played on PS4. Man, I never complain. Like, I'm a very shitty reviewer. I never complain about or even bring up how games run. Like, their FPS, all that shit. I just don't care. I'm a console player. But this game chugs every time you pause the game and unpause. If there's a large explosion's happening, frames are just gone, just frame by frame. It is just not good, and it just was horrible. Um, so yeah, my final verdict for the game, it's kind of a hard one to give. It almost felt like The Last of Us Part Two to me, as in the gameplay being honestly pretty great, and the world being great. You know, it's literally the same comparison. Those two things are great, but in The Last of Us, you know, some of your characters you still had Ellie, but they weren't really characters you knew. I don't know. I shouldn't be comparing them to be honest, but off of those two experiences, they're basically kind of the same experience um, when it comes to your enjoyment, but for different reasons, I guess. Besides, I mean, vague reasons. Gameplay, story was ass in both. Control tries to be deep and it's not. Death Stranding, at least when it tried to be deep, turned out to be kind of fucking deep, in my opinion. Or, you know, it was cool and got explained. Control gets no explanations. And they got a lot of weird shit in this. Like, I remember seeing the Threshold Kid dolls get played. At the end, someone does a music video. It's very weird. And some of it's very cool, atmospheric shit, like I've said. I'm really trying to come down to a final verdict here. It's either a 6 or a 7, but I don't want to be too rude to it. I think it was cool for what it was, as long as you pay for what you pay $20 less. I got this for free in a sense. I did a free trial on PS Now, and I played through it really quick and did some side missions. Um, but yeah, like I said, you only get those 3 abilities. You don't really get a bunch more abilities. You just upgrade your health and your power of throwing, and that was really it. The soundtrack was meh. There was 2 really good songs in the whole thing, and then other than that, it was just a bunch of eerie sounds. Um, anyway, final verdict for this game is gonna be a 7 out of 10. I gotta give it a 7. It is fun. Um, and most games are 7s. Like, I know 5 is my average and most people's average rating. But most games that I will play are 7s. The games that are really below average or average, I just sometimes don't even play. So I do have mainly positive reviews, and I do look at this game as a good game, but it lacks a lot of things and doesn't explain. They just didn't know how to tell a story, but they knew how to make a game. You know what I'm saying? That's what this felt like. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching this long, dragged out video. I'm sorry if it was boring, but please like, comment, subscribe anyway, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Fuck, I missed.